Hey, Facebook Live, Cami Baker here, coming to you from my home in New England. And I just wanted to touch base on what I've got going on this week. I have mentioned earlier in some of my personal messages to you guys and just different phone calls I've been making and things about this upcoming extraordinary program. And what I want to talk about today are three myths that are surrounding, that are swarming, that are an epidemic about networking that I want to bust. And I'm actually going to bust them on the Zoominar that I do on Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. So the myths that I'm going to bust around networking are, number one, I hear all the time, Cami, I don't have time to network. There's not enough time to network. Just can't do it. Only so much time in a day. I can't make enough time to network. And that is so true. And it's so false. So we're going to talk about that on Wednesday at 1 o'clock. We'll talk about the myth that there's just not enough time to network. So the second thing is about being a born networker. Most people think that everybody else has got it figured out except for them. And that there's extroverts and there's introverts. And if so-and-so can do it, but they can't do it. And so I am here to tell you that we're going to bust that myth too. That it is not something that you're born with. It is not something that if you don't have it, you can't do it. Hi, Ronald. Hi, Jeffrey. My two favorite guys. Thank you for always supporting me. You both rock. And you both have to meet each other. Ron, when you get back from St. Croix, you need to meet Jeffrey. And Jeffrey is up near the Canadian border, but comes down to civilization once every 6 or 8 weeks. So I'm actually speaking in Boston, Jeffrey, April 5th, April 11th, and May 26th that I can remember. So let me know when you're coming down. Maybe we can coordinate. You can see me in action. The third myth that we're going to bust on Wednesday is around networking as a place that you go. So there is a mindset that you have to be in a certain place, or that when we talk about networking, it's going there, or when I'm at that. And that is so not the plan. It is not what happens. Networking is not that. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit on Wednesday as well. So I actually was just on the phone doing an interview with a woman named Orion. Let me get her name right because she's so sweet. Orion Talmy. She has a podcast called Living a Stellar Life. Living a Stellar Life. And I am so honored that I was interviewed by her today. She's actually interviewed John Gray. Men are from Mars, women are from Venus. So I've now been interviewed on the same podcast as Dr. John Gray. So that's pretty cool. And I told her I'd give her a little shout out today. Because that's part of what I'll be teaching. There is a class coming up that is called Up to 30 Highly Qualified Leads in 30 days with as little as 30 minutes a day. And one of the many strategies, tips, techniques, things to make net playing, networking, net webbing fun is how we give referrals to people and how we give people shout outs. This is called the law of reciprocity. You know, you do for someone, they naturally want to do for you. Orion reached out to me. She wanted to interview me. We had a fabulous conversation. Now I'm talking about her podcast, the Stellar Lifestyle, and I'm giving her a shout out. So I'm not sure who gave the shout out first or what, but the law of reciprocity says when I do for you, you naturally want to reciprocate and do for me. And so that's one of the few things that we'll be talking about, or one of the many things, that we'll be talking about in that program. But on Wednesday at 1 o'clock, we're going to bust those three myths. So number one, you say you don't have enough time to network? I'm going to help you with that. We're going to bust that myth. You say that you are not a born networker and that you're not extroverted and that it's too hard to learn. We're going to talk about that too. And you think that networking is a place to go. Let me give you an example about this one. Another friend of mine, another coach, Nancy Hill out there, we had a conversation a couple of nights ago about networking, and she says to me, Cammie, I never go networking. I just don't go networking. Now, mind you, she's in a network marketing business on the side of being a coach, and she's at this network marketing businesses training every week. So once a week, at least, she's at an event that has 50 to 100 people at it. And because she's a coach that can help and serve and benefit so many people that are in that room every week, I said, Nancy, exactly where do you think you need to go to network? And she gave me some ideas. And I said, well, what about the network marketing meeting that you're at every week with people? She said, oh yeah, I've got a couple of clients in there, but that's not really networking. So we're going to bust that myth about where it is that we're supposed to network or what networking looks like. So Wednesday at 1 o'clock Eastern time, I'll be doing just a quick Zoominar. Now, if you are interested in being on the Zoominar, just send me over in a private message that you're interested, or give me some shout outs or whatever here, and I'll send you over the Zoom link. And we'll get on, and I'm going to bust those 3 myths, and then I'm going to talk about, okay, great, now that we understand about how to leverage our time networking, now that we understand that anybody can do it anywhere with anyone, anywhere, now that we've busted all those myths, now how can we generate 30 highly qualified leads in 30 days in as little as 30 minutes a day with effort? Because I know a lot of people that have fabulous products and services, but they're just not talking to enough people. Or I know people that can close really, really well. Like they got their system down to close, to have a conscious conversation, to be able to offer their services, but they don't have anybody to offer it to. So in other words, no leads, no clients. And I've also said in my trainings many times to not really refer to people as leads, because who wants to be a lead or a target or, on the hit list, as some prospectors would say. I'm using this word in this product because people understand what that is. If I were to say seeds, because I'll tell people, stop looking for leads and start planting your seeds. And that's so true. You want to plant seeds with people. Because some people need your services right now today, and some people won't need them for 6 months or 6 years. Or maybe they don't need your services, but they are a great collaboration partner. Or maybe they end up being a romantic partner, or maybe you end up doing some volunteer work with them. Like, you don't know. So I talk all the time about, when we're out mingling, networking, netwebbing, that we aren't looking for leads, that it's more about planting our seeds, because we don't really know what's going to grow from that seed. However, I understand that the average person just calls it leads, lead generation, looking for a lead. So if that's the case, how about if we had 30 highly qualified leads, especially for my entrepreneur friends, my speaking friends, my coaching friends, etc. If you could get 30 qualified people that you could get on the phone in the next 30 days or over a 30-day period, what would that do to your business? Especially for those of us who have $1,000 and up clients. What would that look like for you? Or even if it's a few $100s for a smaller group package, what would that look like for you to have those people? As a matter of fact, just last Friday, I used this technique, one of the techniques I'm going to share with you in the program. I use this one technique. Within 30 minutes, now check this out, within 30 minutes of effort, in as little as 30 minutes a day, 30 minutes of effort, I booked 3 strategy sessions, 1 speaking gig, and 1 interview in a podcast. Now, mind you, as a speaker, to get a speaking gig means I'm going to be able to get up in front of 10, 20, 30, 50, 100 people at one time. And to get booked to be speaking on podcasts, hundreds, thousands, not really sure how many people are going to hear that. So, dare I say that in that 1 30-minute rousing effort, I got 3 highly qualified leads that I've set up conversations with. But between the speaking gig and the being on the podcast, which is kind of a speaking gig, technically I just got hundreds or thousands maybe of leads coming in. Now, I don't know how highly qualified those will be, but it does get my name out there, and it does spread my message, spread my website, start to build rapport, certainly builds credibility. I'm being seen more, et cetera, et cetera. I can't go do a live speaking event without having a couple of people come up to me at the end and give me their card and create conversation, et cetera, et cetera. So just in that 1/2 hour, multiple leads were created. Now, how did I do that? Well, that's what we're going to talk about. That's what we're going to talk about. So if you're interested, send me a private message and I will send you over the Zoom link for Wednesday, this coming Wednesday, Eastern Time, 1 p.m., up to 30 highly qualified leads in 30 days with as little as 30 minutes of effort in a day. Because I am the guerrilla marketer. I look at things, apparently, I used to think, well, everybody looks at things this way. Everybody thinks about stuff like this, and they just don't. I hear on a daily basis when I'm talking to people about networking and about, hi, Tracy Thompson. Tracy Thompson, I love you. I'm talking about you all the time. As a matter of fact, the interview that I did, I was telling these folks earlier,